What is it about some people that makes them so magnetic? I'm sure you've wondered or dreamed about how you can be that girl that walks into a room that everyone somehow just like slowly starts gravitating towards, the one that everyone is attracted to their beautiful energy. Like, people just can't help but want to come up to you and talk to you and absorb that beautiful magnetic energy. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you that if you think only some people can be magnetic, no, you can be magnetic too. And here are 5 tips on things I've noticed about all magnetic people that I've met. Hi, I'm Genevieve, by the way, and I do videos in Toronto on mindset and life, and pretty much just relatable things in your 20s. So make sure to follow along if you like this content and subscribe to my channel down below. First one is to stop thinking and start doing. What I mean by this is that a lot of the times we get in our own heads and end up self-sabotaging because we start having all of these overthinking thoughts. We get into this whole deep rabbit hole of these negative thoughts that affect the way that we're perceived in the outside world. We start second guessing ourselves. We're not as confident. We almost have this layer of self-doubt. So it's like, if I have this self-doubt on myself, what reason does someone else have to not have that self-doubt in me? So kind of envisioning yourself and believing you are that person that you envision yourself as and stepping into that version of you versus overthinking every single little action. The second trait of magnetic people that I've noticed is that they're not afraid to make mistakes. I think there's something about being able to make mistakes, laugh about it. Being able to be seen trying, failing, succeeding takes a lot of courage. A lot of magnetic people are very okay with the fact that there's a potential that they might make a mistake, they might fail, they might trip up, but they can laugh about it. They can have a good time about it. They can be like, oh, that happened, but you know what? It's actually taught me to be better. I think it's not so much about others' perception of these people, but more so that they're so confident in their own skin that they're willing to take a risk on themselves. They know that they'll be able to get right back up, and they're confident enough to just lean into it. Like, oh, I failed at this, but I can get back on my 2 feet and find my way to keep trying again. Third one, which kind of relates, I think there's like an underlying theme now that I'm talking about this, is to just stop trying to be like someone else. You are your own magnetic person. Let me get that straight. You are not that other magnetic person that you see in the room. And there can be multiple magnetic people. Okay? I feel like there's this misconception that we have to be a certain way to be that magnetic person in the room. But I really don't think that's the case. I think you can be magnetic and attract different types of people. Like, different people will gravitate towards different magnetic people. You don't need to cater to everyone. You don't need to be everyone's cup of tea. We try so hard sometimes when we're growing up to, be that person that everyone wants to be friends with, or be friends with that person everyone wants to be friends with, to see what they're doing that you can do more of. But the reality is, we are all so different, and there's a beauty in embracing our uniqueness and being authentic to ourselves, and not trying to be someone else. The magnetic people that I've met in my life, I feel like, are 100% true to themselves at the core, and you can really feel like they don't have to try hard to be like that. That's just the way that they are. They're really, really authentic to their true values and beliefs. Don't hide parts of yourself in hopes of being like someone else. That is literally the worst thing you could do, to self-sabotage yourself by thinking that you need to suppress certain versions of you because you think it's not likable. You know that quote that's like, don't let people make you feel small, or that people shouldn't make you feel small around you? I think that is something that is so true for being like super magnetic. It's, if you feel like you're in those crowds where people are trying to make you feel small, or you feel like small, you feel like you're not heard, you feel small, get out of those situations. And maybe it's time to find new crowds where, your energy shines just as it is, and you don't have to suppress those parts of you. Because truly, my honest thoughts on that is that if people make you feel small, there is something about you that they don't like. They don't like seeing you shine so bright, and they are maybe still working through or going through some things of their own, that it's hard for them to see other people shine like that. So you feeling the need to suppress yourself is only holding you back, and at that point, I think it's really time for you to change environments. The fourth one is you are genuinely happy for other people's successes and you know that everyone can be successful. In this age of social media and just like everything, it's so easy to feel the need to compete with everyone and that you're in a competition because, you know, we're competing for jobs, we're competing for views, we're competing for likes, like competing for schools, like literally the list goes on. Life isn't a competition and we can all thrive. That is the abundance mentality that I want us to take into 2024. It's really hard sometimes to think like that, especially when you think your life is against you, everything's going wrong. You know, I feel like that a lot of times. Allowing that abundance mindset to flow back into your life and realizing that, you know, we're all on our own paths. Everything happens for a reason. These low times, they're strengthening me up so that I can handle the tough times. They're helping me build character. They're teaching me lessons that I wouldn't have learned if life was really that easy. And if life was that easy, then it would not be worth living at all because the highs are so much better when you have experienced the lows. Not that I wish people to experience the lows, but that is just one perspective that I think you should take away from today. And going back to this, it's like the idea that we can all thrive. There's no gatekeeping, and magnetic people somehow are just so confident in everyone and themselves that like you can genuinely feel like they're happy for other people and not that subtle tint of like jealousy or envy that radiates off of some people when it's like you tell a toxic friend or something that you got this big promotion or you know, like you're so excited that you're going on this like 2-month-long trip and they somehow seem to be a little bit like envious or jealous, like they're not happy for you, they're not celebrating your wins with you. There is a balance. Like we have all had our days where we're having an awful day, and like I've had this with my sister. Like I was having an awful time because we were in lockdown during COVID and she was in Hawaii traveling and at the beach every single day, and I was in like gloomy Toronto. She would call me and I would be like, oh, like really depressed, like talking to her because I just couldn't bear to see how happy she was because I was so miserable that it made me like feel worse. In a sense, it was family, so I was way more comfortable just expressing my really raw, authentic emotions. If it was a friend, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have acted as much that way. I probably just would have distanced myself a little bit more, but that is completely on me, and I'm very self-aware of that. But that's an example of like, yes, like we don't always have to pretend to be happy if, you know, like we're unhappy with parts of ourselves. I think the first step comes with being aware of it and knowing that that's something that we want to work on. And maybe it motivates us to work harder on ourselves or changing our current situations if it's not where we want to be. I don't think it's possible to be like 100% magnetic all the time. Like we all have emotions. We all get angry. We all get sad and we go through the ups and downs of life. So just a little reminder there. Okay, the last tip I think for magnetic people is that it's not always me. Magnetic people have a way of making people feel seen and heard because of the types of questions they ask, you know, feeling like they have a genuine interest in the conversation. Because at the end of the day, we all just want to feel seen and heard, okay? I feel like at the core, that's like we all thrive on connection and being able to feel understood by the world around us. And little tips to get you to be a bit more magnetic include how to be conversational. I think I could do another whole video on just how to be a good conversationalist. There's a difference between answering people's questions in like a yes and no manner. I think a yes and no answer to a question kind of just shuts down that person from continuously asking more questions, unless you're kind of going and trying to continue the conversation in a sense. But there's a lot of people that you will talk to which surprisingly just do not have great conversational skills, who will respond a really, really super dry answer to a question, and it'll make the person who's asking you the question feel a little bit shut down. Magnetic people, on the other hand, are really good at continuing this conversation in a way that feels very authentic, not too interview-like, but feeling like, you know, they're really thinking about the questions that they're putting out and that they want to know more. They want to understand you a bit more, and they want you to share. So these were my 5 tips on how to be a more confident, magnetic person in 2024 and show up as that person that you were always meant to be. I remember when I was younger, I would literally look into the mirror and I would tell myself, I'd be like, can you just be how you are at home, outside? I was really shy growing up. So I had like a little bubble around me when I went in public. Like no one could see how I was in my own comfortable environment because I was really scared to show that. I guess there was almost a comfort and I guess non-judgmental feeling around being with family that has literally seen me since I was in my diapers and naked, that I could be authentically myself. And then when I would go to school, middle school, even kindergarten, like I remember one time I was sitting at daycare and I was literally sitting by the door with my lunchbox waiting for my mom to come because I was too scared to go play with the kids. I was too scared to socialize. I was a little shy kid, and I have come a long way since then, and I am so proud of myself because so it just comes to show that like you can come a long way, and wherever you are, if there's something that you want to work on and someone you want to be and someone that you envision yourself as, it is 100% possible. I used to envision myself every single day being this exact person because I was too scared to be that person and show up as her in my like high school days or middle school days. So the fact that I've come this far just shows that anyone can do it, and you're still going to grow along the way. There's going to be so many lessons. You're going to find yourself, figure out who you are. Just the intention behind it enough is powerful enough to make that change. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and it was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel and follow me on my socials so we can be friends.